first thought that comes to a new owner of a Retroid Pocket 3 is what kind of games and consoles can be emulated. However, sometimes a forgotten bonus of owning a device like the Pocket 3 or even the 2 Plus is that it comes with the ability to play native Android games. And really, there is an entire world of games to explore here, which allows us to expand the library of what's possible on our svelte handhelds. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to check out 10 premium experiences available to us on the Android platform, with many being included in the affordable and excellent Google Play Pass. So open up the Play Store and join me, Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, as I share some Android games worth playing on your Retroid Pocket. Naturally, we're going to ease our way into Android gaming with some good old shmup action. Sine Mora has been around for quite some time, appearing on multiple platforms, and I think many do not realize that it actually received a native Android port. Unfortunately, I think part of that has to do with the game not being available on the Google Play Store. This game was developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, and for those who might not know, they are responsible for the No More Heroes franchise. Now, Sine Mora is a fantastic modern shmup that is an absolute joy to play. I can't tell you how many times I've loaded this one up over the years. Now, there are obviously still ways to enjoy this game, and for that, Google will be your friend. It's a real shame that this one is not available for purchase anymore, because it's a fantastic game that is really well suited to the Retroid Pocket 3. Next up on the list is one that a viewer had requested over on my Retroid Pocket 3 in-depth video. Now, for those that might be new to the channel, my plan is always to expand on the content seen in one of my in-depth videos. For example, I have a significant amount of gameplay videos with the Win600, and I'm now starting to feature the XP Plus and Retroid Pocket 3. With that out of the way, let's talk about the game you're seeing here. If I had to choose a game that describes my channel as a mood, I would absolutely pick Absolute Drift. It's an incredibly stylized game with slick visuals, an incredible soundtrack, and really is the perfect game to pick up and play after a long day of work. The game is such a vibe, and I'm very happy to feature it here. Now, this is definitely another game that has appeared on many other platforms, but it finds a nice home over here on Android, and outside of this version, we wouldn't be able to enjoy this on the Retroid Pocket 3, so I am all for it. By the way, for this game, I did use the built-in mapping software, which is very easy to set up once you are in the game. This one is available on the Play Pass from Google, and moving forward, I will let you know on screen with a check mark that a game is available for the Play Pass. Alternatively, this one comes in at a whopping 99 cents for purchase. Part of that same viewer request, Riptide GP is one that I've been playing on Android for a long time. In fact, I've been playing games from the studio responsible, Vector Unit, even longer. They were in charge of the fantastic Hydro Thunder Hurricane, which I played over on 360, and yes, even having fond memories over on Windows Phone playing the game while riding the Metro to work. Now, over on mobile, they have done a great job with games like Riptide GP and Beach Buggy Racing. I think these guys know a thing or two about making fun arcade-style racing games. I've always loved arcade racers and sorely miss them. Thankfully, there are studios like Vector Unit still producing content like this. Renegade is the newest entry in the Riptide GP franchise. The game runs very well on the Retroid Pocket 3 and visually looks great. It's another cheap experience, only running $2.99, and is part of the Play Pass as well. Next up is indie game darling Donut County. Now, this game will make the list for not only myself, but for my daughter as well. We both absolutely love the game and have bonded quite a bit over it. It's moments like this when you're able to discover something new with your child that makes it all the worthwhile. Now, we both have a thing for mischievous animals, and BK, the trash panda you're seeing here, is certainly one that fits the title well. From the moment you start getting into the gameplay, you immediately get Katamari vibes. It's a really adorable game that, while short, is fun to run through and perhaps do so multiple times. I've played this one through completion a few times, and my daughter has finished it probably even more than I have. This one comes highly recommended from the both of us. While this one may not be available on the Play Pass, it's definitely well worth the $4.99 admission fee. Max Payne is a game that is now going on over 20 years old, and it's one that I love to revisit constantly. For me, this one is like going back home to visit, partly because it takes place in New York City, and so accurately captures the subway right down to the trash that I used to experience all the time as a teenager. It's also cheaper than buying a plane ticket, and I get to experience New York City from my now much sunnier and current home. Despite the game's age, it still holds up fairly well visually and runs great on the Retroid Pocket 3. There is something quite endearing about seeing this game running on a device like this. I remember the computer I needed to experience Max Payne way back on PC, and here I go again making myself sound really old, but yeah, my teenage self would have been blown away by this. Again, the Android port is a great way to experience this game, and no need to worry about emulating the PS2 version when this one exists. Unfortunately, this one is not part of the Play Pass, but can be had for a measly $2.99.
Locked. I would have to find another way to get to the tunnel.
Oceanhorn was some of the earlier full-fledged premium mobile experiences that started showing up on iOS and then Android. It does deserve its critical acclaim, as it's always been a fantastic game and one that really drives home that mobile gaming can be so much more than the free-to-play junk that most think of. I remember how excited I was when this one released on iOS back in 2013, and I really enjoyed it on my iPad. The visuals and soundtracks are standouts, and the gameplay obviously draws inspiration from the Legend of Zelda series. This one has seen its fair share of ports, but does play really well here on the Retroid Pocket 3. It's part of the Google Play Pass and can also be purchased for a very reasonable $4.99. Space Marshals comes to us from Pixelbyte, another studio well known around the mobile space and responsible for games like the Reckless Racing and Getaway series. This is a top-down, third-person shooter game that has been around for some time on mobile platforms. There are 2 additional sequels in this franchise. This game has a fun sci-fi meets Wild West theme and puts emphasis on stealth elements. This is another game that shows mobile games can be more and is a full-blown premium purchase-once experience with solid gameplay and presentation. Like Oceanhorn, this one is available on Play Pass and can be purchased for a very reasonable $3.99. I'm really excited to talk about this next game. Grimvalor is a more recent mobile release, and again, released as a one-time purchase-to-own experience that made its debut on mobile platforms. This one immediately gave me Metroidvania vibes, but probably leans more to being a side-scrolling Dark Souls-style game with awesome hack-and-slash RPG elements, graphics, and storytelling. This one just has great mechanics that will keep you hooked on it for a while. I'm really glad that Grimvalor runs really well here on the Retroid Pocket 3 and shines with that 16:9 screen. This is another fantastic game, part of the Play Pass, but can also be purchased for $6.99. Easily one of the most popular ports to Android is Dead Cells. This roguelike Metroidvania game is another indie darling and has also found itself becoming the go-to mobile game because of its premium buy once and enjoy forever experience. This one is truly something special and well worth experiencing at least once. It has found its way to many platforms at this point, but again, without having access to the Android port, this one would never be playable on the Retroid Pocket 3 and shows why having access to the Play Store on this device is such an awesome bonus. I really do think think that this one adds so much value to a device like the Retroid Pocket 3 and takes it beyond just being an emulation handheld. Yet again, it's another game part of the Play Pass and can also be purchased for $8.99 and ends up being the most expensive game featured on this list. Of course, it's all relative because $8.99 for this game is an absolute steal. Go play it. And finally, making it to the last game being featured here today is one that probably needs no introduction. Grand Theft Auto 3 received an excellent port to mobile platforms and again shows what can be enjoyed over on these devices. Thankfully for the Retroid Pocket 3, this version does exist and allows us to forego any kind of emulation and just enjoy this absolutely full-fat console experience on our tiny devices. Very much like Max Payne for me, there is just something quite endearing about seeing a game of the caliber of GTA 3 running on a handheld the size of the Retroid Pocket 3. Teenage me really had no idea what the world of tomorrow was going to bring. This game is unfortunately not part of the Play Pass, but can be purchased for only $4.99, an absolute steal.
No in-app purchases.
And with that, we've checked out 10 premium games worth checking out on Android, and especially if you own a Retroid Pocket 3. Now for those that have the 2 Plus, these will run on that device as well, but I think for Android gaming, a lot of these experiences are just better suited to the widescreen display. I have a feeling I'll be making a return to more Android games on the Retroid Pocket in the future, but in the meantime, let me know what you might want to see and what you thought of this video. This is the Retro Tech Dad, and thank you so much for watching.